Iluna is here! And trust me, comments, I'm well aware. It only took me way too long to make this video, but we're finally here in anime Hogwarts. But no, please don't comment anything about Harry Potter. I know nothing about it, and I prefer my life that way. Also, I should note that this video is part 3 in a series of videos discussing all of the Nijisanji EN lore, so you should probably do yourself a favor and go watch the first 2 episodes before continuing this one, as we'll be using some of the terms and theories from those videos to explain Iluna's lore and how it relates to all the others. As always, we'll only be looking at the debuts and official releases because I am a busy man with not enough time to watch all the streams for the smallest hint of story detail, thus if I missed anything big, feel free to let me know down below. So let's get started by asking, do I still have to pretend these are all connected? Okay, fine, we'll do the hard work. Let's start by establishing what Iluna is, as it's not only the name of the group, but also the name of their magical academy. Now, while we'll have some evidence for this later on, it's important to note that Iluna, the school, is located in Virtual Neverland. It should come as no surprise that in a fantastical virtual reality, someone would eventually program in a magical high school, or college, for users to run around in and learn in-game spells and such. But we'll come back to this at the end, because right now it's time for us to introduce our 6 new members. First year's Maria Marionette and Kyo Conoco, second year's Aya Amare and Esther Arcadia, and third year's Scarl Yunaguni and Ren Zoto. First off is Kyo Conoco, aka the one for whom I ghost wrote a diss track and fully wrote a love song. Also the one who decided to start us off with depression. Kyo starts by telling us about why he loves video games, how they're an escape for him from the pain and hardships plaguing his real life. One night as he lays in his hospital bed, a strange feeling comes over him. An odd glowing liquid covers his hand and begins streaming in from the moonlight and through the window. Ghostly apparitions of himself invite Kyo to follow the light. On the roof, the light swirls around him before lifting and engulfing him. Then, anime OP! Kyo then confirms that he's a student at Iluna Institute of the Mystics, and while he's not entirely sure how he got there, he says he has the blessing of the moon. Well, Kyo, luckily for you, I may have the answers. I also may have just made this up. Probably the second one. Where did we establish Iluna as being located? Virtual Neverland. What have we already established some people from our world can do to enter Virtual Neverland? Upload their consciousness. What is that strange blue trail? Could it be a data stream? What we're seeing in this sequence is actually how Kyo's mind is interpreting itself being uploaded into the servers of Virtual Neverland. The ghosts are either fragments of himself already there, or programmed guides meant to convince the consciousness to allow the transfer by showing them how happy they'll be. Kyo was alone, in constant pain, and his health was failing. It'd be no surprise to hear that he or his parents opted to let his consciousness be uploaded into his favorite thing, a permanent video game. An escape to where he could live a perfect, happy life, free of the worries and hurt from before. One big detail that lends credence to this theory is that after receiving the blessing of the moon, aka being uploaded, he has become ageless, which makes sense considering a digital avatar wouldn't age. And also, he's super cute.
Just like me, I top you, what?
Anytime. On a serious note, I am aware that Kyo does actually suffer from chronic pain, so I want to say that I have nothing but the utmost respect for him and his fight. We're all cheering for you, Kyo, and we are immensely appreciative of everything that you do. Next comes Maria, whose intro video shows us the story of a little girl who excitedly bought a doll we'd come to know as Maria Marionette. The girl loved her doll, but one day while playing with Maria, the girl fell and broke Maria's eye. The girl, panicking and heartbroken, gives her a little eye patch. But despite all that love, one day the girl did what kids often do. She put Maria on the shelf and never took her back down. Days, weeks, months, and years go by. Finally, Maria is visited by something odd. A stuffed bunny walking all on his own. It was then that Maria opened her eyes and awoke. Otherwise, Maria canonizes that she's a doll from the 1890s before eventually being placed under a magic spell that turned her into a real girl. That's pretty much it for now, but worry not, we'll be coming back to all of these at the end. In the meantime, let's discuss Aya Amare's parole. Growing up in the mostly peaceful heaven, Aya was a constant source of discord through varying assaults and fights, counts of arson, theft, vandalism, and intense Denny's parking lot rap battles. Thus, after too much trouble had been caused, the Archangels finally decided to send her to Iluna. While she's still causing trouble, the fact that she's got such a great group of friends there shows that she really is making progress. If you remember from the first video, we established that, to the residents of Virtual Neverland, heaven refers to the real world, and more specifically, the company that programmed and runs Virtual Neverland. Thus, the obvious assumption is that Aya came from our world and either was an employee or the daughter of an employee at heaven, and as part of her parole, was placed into the Iluna world where she could grow to be less of a menace to society in a safe environment. However, she says she still meets with her parole officer, so we now should start to question if the technology at Heaven has reached the point that users can now temporarily upload their consciousnesses into a VR experience, but can also log out whenever they choose. This would mean that Aya goes in for school and to hang out with the other members, but otherwise lives her life in our world. Otherwise, we'd have to discuss the morality of virtual consciousness imprisonment, and I don't think we're ready for that conversation yet. Esther's a little tricky. In Esther's lore video, we see him mourning the loss of, presumably, his mother or grandmother before looking to the future, aka his friends, with a smile because he knows that happiness is what she would have wanted for him. It's a very sweet tale that immediately is broken by Esther claiming this.
As for my species, I am a celestial one, a divine star given human form. But I do remember the day I was birthed, which was from a supernova long ago. I'm still young though, as I'm just a little over 1 million years old.
But we just saw your mom, like the one who gave birth to you. How are you also a star? That doesn't... What? Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to stick with me here because I believe I do have a solid answer, but once again you're gonna have to wait until the end to hear it. As for my opinions on Scarl Yonaguni, well, I think this clip of me and Evan says it all.
No!
No!
The stars above. My breast is...
Scarl is an enchantress and third-year student at Iluna and likes toxic anime boys. That's kind of it. There's not really lore here. It's just...
I'll take very good care of you during your stay.
a personal attack on my well-being. Finally, we have Renzoto, an evil and vicious alien prince, but after getting bored of his daily routine of going around and murdering indiscriminately, he went off in search of something new. Stumbling upon Earth, he fell in love with their music and chose to stick around to observe. Eventually, he decided to stay, enrolled in a school, and started his music career. Now, this would be a relatively simple, cool VTuber background, like Lexium's stories, but then there's these comments.
Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. I've been playing that since I was a wee babby.
Now, I would typically ignore these kinds of comments if they didn't help me point out my core theory for this video. Iluna is just a group of friends on a Virtual Neverland RP server. Think about it! It makes total sense! Every member's lore is just their OC's backstory. It explains all the contradictions, the setting, all of it. Like we said before, Iluna, the school, is just a location in Virtual Neverland. We can even see the Nijisanji logo, or Heaven's logo in the story's context, on the building to confirm this. We already posited that Aya and Kyo were uploaded into the system, and while we could still believe that regardless, isn't it much more logical to assume they're just logging into the game? Kyo clearly states he likes video games and sees them as an escape from his life. Aya's story of being sent there could have just been a recommendation to try it out by her parole officer to channel her energy into a more harmless hobby. And if we assume they are, why can't we assume the same for the rest of Iluna? Each member is someone logging onto Virtual Neverland and roleplaying as the characters we see as VTubers. It explains how we explicitly see Aster's mom, but how he can also be a million-year-old supernova given human form. How Ren has been playing Nintendo games since he was a baby, but also somehow just arrived on Earth. Not to mention why an alien would choose to enroll at a magic school. I mean, you're telling me that you're gonna look at how Maria looks and acts in all the lore videos and tell me she isn't someone RPing their Chuny OC? Scarl is just the mom of the group who loves talking and hanging out with them but doesn't take the roleplay as seriously. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this takes away from any of their stories or makes their lore any lesser for it. But let's be honest with ourselves and say that it is way more fun and funny to imagine that Iluna is just a group of friends who met while role-playing in a glorified Second Life. If you still want to believe that Kyo was uploaded as a dying wish, then this all still works and honestly makes the whole thing a little more melancholy when you consider he's left alone when they're all offline. But you could also extrapolate that many of the scenes we see of all of them could be reinterpretations of the gang meeting in real life. They actually picked up Aya after she started a fight in a parking lot. They actually went to the carnival together, etc. A group of individuals dealing with pain, isolation, abandonment, and loss. People crying out for help or trying to find a place in their new home. Finally, all finding others with kind hearts ready to accept them and show them the beauty of the world. And quite frankly, that's a story that I love a lot more than some elaborate setup of interdimensional or time travel, corporate multimedia projects, or eldritch god fairies. Just a group of misfits finally finding people who love and accept them. In all seriousness, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want me to keep doing this kind of stuff, please like, comment, subscribe, the YouTube things. Also, share this with your friends, your family. Put it on for your creepy neighbor who won't stop looking through your window at night. Let's just be honest. The bigger the numbers go, the more I'm incentivized to keep making these videos. If anyone from Iluna is watching, thank you. You all are incredible, and you should be seriously proud of yourselves. I'm excited to see you all continue to grow and succeed because you all truly deserve it. Video over.